Welcome to Valley News Live at 6. I'm Justin Betty. We begin tonight with an update on a story we told you about last week. A new car dealership is now canceling plans to build in West Fargo. Just 1 week after Gateway Hyundai Nissan got the green light from city commissioners to build in the Rivers Bend neighborhood behind Costco, south of I-94. Valley News Team's Courtney Lockie joins us now live in studio tonight to explain why and what happens next. Courtney.
Justin, the city says the dealership withdrew their conditional use permit Friday afternoon. They were looking to build on privately owned land, and the city had no investment in the project. As far as impacts to the city, there is the loss of potential future tax revenue. That played a role in the measure's 3-2 passage earlier this month, despite concern from neighbors and even some city leaders.
My concern as a resident of this neighborhood that is shared by several neighbors are bright lights shining into our neighborhood.
I think this is a horrible idea. This is one of the nicest neighborhoods in this city, and to put a car dealership next to this neighborhood is really bad planning.
Some city leaders argued the area was designed to bring in big business, and the dealership planned to build sound barriers and plant trees. The city says they were not given a reason for the withdrawal, and they aren't involved in the business's decisions on future locations. Justin?
Thanks, Courtney. We did reach out to the dealership for answers to those questions about where they might go next, but we haven't heard back.